live from the Park Forest, live from the Tammany Memorial Studios and Park Forest here in Jackson, Michigan. This is Steve Sporty Balls. Tonight, all the latest in sports, some entertainment news, and a whole lot more. With 100% of the precincts in on this Tuesday night. Now, here's your host, and hopefully we won't have any problems. Here's your host, along with me, yours truly, Harry Von Stuttgart. Here's Steve, the Batsman Baxley.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. Hiya. Welcome to a Super Tuesday where, hey, our promotions department did a damn good job. I'm going to say that. They did a damn good job. Um, they got us back um, with a new look of our on our electronic board. It feels good to be back home, as they say. And tonight, our Sporty Balls has no sponsor again, but then again, for 3 years we have colored the world. So let's get to work. Shallst we? Yes, we shallst. Okay, let's get you some news before we get over to the scoreboard and then some entertainment news. But here's some big news if you love football, and we got some college football for you. The NCAA rejected Reggie Bush's request to reconsider penalties levied against the USA football program as part of Bush's effort to regain his Heisman Trophy because he was, quote, not an involved individual, end quote, in the landmark case, CBS Sports has learned. In a 2022 letter from the NC2A to Bush's legal team obtained by CBS Sports, the NC2A Committee on Infractions explained to Bush, quote, you will never officially charged by the NCAA enforcement staff, end quote, in the 2010 case. The letter clarifies to Bush that the sanctions were, quote, an institutional penalty. Therefore, you do not have standing to seek reconsideration. Your request is therefore denied. In other words, you're screwed. Thank you, Clee. No, thank you, Jethro. Welcome. The letter goes on to explain that the committee's decision is final. A similar request was denied last year. The Heisman Trust told Bush it will not evaluate potentially returning the 2005 trophy he voluntarily surrendered in 2010 until the NCAA reconsiders penalties against USC. Now, Bush is not mentioned by name in the USC public infractions report, despite the program being forced to vacate statistics and school records achieved by the running back, in which he competed while ineligible. According to the NC2A itself said the case was centered around impermissible benefits given to student athlete one, who is largely assumed to be Bush. Student athlete one is mentioned 340 times in the 67-page report. Penalties levied following the 4-year NC2A investigation included USC receiving a 2-year postseason ban and being docked 30 scholarships. The school was forced to vacate 14 wins in which Bush played. Bush was also disassociated from USC for a 10-year period, which ended in 2020. College sports player compensation climate changed in July 2021 when name, image, and likeness laws would have allowed many of the impermissible benefits that were deemed against the rules in the USC case. Now, Bush sued the NC2A for defamation in August 2023, arguing that his character was maliciously attacked by the association's statement. Regarding that case, a reporter asked whether the NC2A would reconsider the sanctions given its new NIL guidelines. An NCAA spokesman said, NCAA rules still do not permit pay-for-play type arrangements. Cletus, they're screwed. Shortly after the NC2A instituted NIL in 2021, the Heisman Trust released a statement, quote, should the NCAA reinstate Bush's 2005 status, the Heisman Trust looks forward to welcoming him back to the Heisman family, end quote. Bush's quest to regain his Heisman recently resurfaced through social media. 2012 Heisman winner Johnny Manziel and legendary college basketball coach Rick Pitino both supported Bush's efforts. Manziel has attended the Heisman ceremony just once since he won the trophy back in 2012. The former Texas A&M star quarterback was suspended for the first half of the 2013 season opener for allegedly accepting money in exchange for autographs. Bush told reporters in December, the NCAA, in my opinion, by the way, this is his quote, is trying to run from this. I feel like now I was framed. How did USC receive this massive penalty with no factual proof behind it, end quote. In the June 2022 letter, the NC2A said that Bush did not receive a notice of allegations and as such was not at risk for individual penalties. Therefore, because you are not a party to this case, you do not have standing to request consideration of the vacation of records penalty, states the letters directed to Bush. The letter also clarifies that the committee did not require Bush to give up the Heisman, concluding the Heisman Trust is free to restore your award independent of the COI's decision. The NC2A said reconsideration of penalties is only available to institutions and involved individuals. Bush returned his 2005 trophy to the Heisman Trust after sanctions were levied against USC. The trust standing on Bush has not changed, a Heisman spokesman said. Quote, if you remember, it was about a year that I didn't get it back. It was almost like I was on the run. I shouldn't have given it back. It wasn't until they started talking about filing a lawsuit against me for not returning the Heisman. They started throwing things around the media like that. I was scared, 21 years old. The world and the NC2A, it felt like was against me. In July 2021, former USC running backs coach Todd McNair settled a separate defamation lawsuit against the NCAA stemming from the original investigation. Bush told reporters that settlement figure was $8 million. You never, ever learn a thing. You try that. Anyway, let's go now to our next little bit of fun fiesta, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers profile is one of the most logical landing spots for quarterback Justin Fields, whose time with the Chicago Bears appears to be nearing its unceremonial conclusion. Well, just don't count on them actually pursuing the former first-round draft pick. Weeks after the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reported the team had no interest in acquiring a big-name successor to current starter Kenny Pickett, the Steelers have doubled down on the approach internally, per The Athletic, showing little interest in a potential Fields trade despite the Bears practically advertising their incumbent signal caller ahead of the 2024 draft. USA Today recently reported that the Steelers had expressed some level of interest in Fields, but that runs counter to everything else that has come from inside the team. Why? Well, it appears that Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin and the rest of Pittsburgh's brass meant it when they said they intended to give Pickett, their 2022 first rounder, another legitimate opportunity to run the show. Now, it's still possible the club will prioritize competition under center, perhaps in the form of an experienced free agent like, say, Ryan Tannehill, who had a history with new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, but all indications are that the Steelers will only add a quarterback if said player is aware he'll be competing with, not automatically replacing, Pickett atop the depth chart. Theoretically, Fields can still fall into that category, But with 3 years of starting experience and his own first round reputation, he registers as more of a clear cut QB1. Where does that leave Fields, presuming the Bears prefer to deal him and use the number one pick in the draft on USA star Caleb Williams? Well, the Falcons, Raiders, and Patriots are a few other teams expected to target quarterback help this offseason. And one or several of them could look to make an offer for Fields if they don't believe they can address the position through the draft. Speaking of the National Football League, it is time, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we had Combine Mania last week, and now this week we have the franchise tag. Yes, friends, it is the deadliest season for the NFL. That is when the franchise tag comes out. That's right. The franchise tag comes out. And let's boom over to the National Football League and see what they're thinking about. You see, when you got the NFL with you, thank you. Let's do this and do this right. If we so indeed can. Let's see. We're gonna have franchise tag news. That's right. Franchise tag. That's right. That means it's time for some tokadilly yapping. All right. It is that time of year again. 8 players were franchise tagged prior to Tuesday's 4 p.m. Eastern deadline. But the impact goes well beyond that number. While several notable players were tagged, just as many were not, and will get a chance to test the market when the NFL's league tampering period ends or begins on March 11th. The franchise tag is an interesting thing. It pays a player a lot of guaranteed money, but for only 1 year. The tag can often double a player's career earnings, but it can also deprive them a chance of getting a very long-term contract. Now, as you can imagine, there were several winners and losers in the aftermath of Tuesday's tag deadline. Let's take a look at each winner and loser, along with a quick look at each player who was tagged. In the NFL, franchise tagged players were. Okay, come on, let's stretch it out. Stretch out. Okay. Justin Matterbalk, defensive tackle, Baltimore Ravens. His 2024 salary is $22,102,000. Brian Burns, linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. His salary was $24,007,000. Jalen Johnson, the Chicago Bears, $19,802,000. T. Higgins from Cincinnati Bengals, or for those of you of the faith, of the love, the Cincinnati Bagels. 21,816,000. Michael Pittman, the wide receiver, Indianapolis Colts, 21,816. Josh Allen, linebacker, not linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars, 24,007,000. L'Jarius Sneed, Kansas City Chiefs, 19,802,000. Antoine Winfield Sr., or not just Senior, Antoine Winfield Jr., the safety for the Bucks, 17,123,000. Now your winner. Running back Shaquan Barkley. Now rest assured, Barkley isn't shedding any tears and not being tagged. By not being tagged, Barkley has less than a week to agree to a long-term deal with the Giants before becoming an unrestricted free agent. Instead of going back to a 6-11 team, Barkley can try to find a better situation via free agency. While the money may not be great, Barkley will at least get a chance to shop his wares for the first time. One possible option might be to the Ravens, who came up just short of playing in this past year's Super Bowl. Your loser, wide receiver Calvin Ridley. Now, Ridley is one of the few players who probably would have welcomed the franchise tag. After not playing in 2022, Ridley was a candidate for the tag after leading the Jags in receiving yards in 2023. Instead of making nearly 22 mil this season under the tag, Ridley will instead enter the free agency world. Ridley will surely find a new team, but it'll be hard to find one that will pay him the amount in annual salary that he would have earned under the tag. Another big winner in franchise tag palooza, there you go, franchise tag palooza, is wide receiver T. Higgins. Sure, Higgins would have much rather preferred a long time deal, but by getting the tag, he doubles his career earnings and gets another year to play alongside Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Higgins will also likely increase his market value after being injured for a good portion of last season. And we say a big hello to Matt Edinetti, otherwise known as the one of the host of the L2C Last Call Cafe, and the guru, known as the wizard of that show. And on Steve's Sporty Balls, we call him producer. I'm the other producer. So he's producer, I'm producer, and everyone is happy and content. Higgins wants to stay in Cincinnati. Talk about being content. So getting tagged gives him and the Bengals more time to come to terms on a long-term deal. Yes, a very long-term deal. An ever increasing salary cap is another reason why Higgins is a winner. Now, how about that loser? Oh boy, the loser was quarterback Baker Mayfield. Yes, the tag would have given Mayfield a big ass fat paycheck and a sense of security in Tampa. But instead, Mayfield and the Buccaneers have less than a week to agree to a contract before the start of free agency. He was making a guaranteed $38.3 million for last season. Now it's hard to fathom Mayfield anywhere near $38 million next season. There is, however, and I do mean however, a good chance that he is the Buccaneers' starting quarterback again. Not getting tagged, however, puts everything into question. Conversely, the Buccaneers kept their options open by choosing not to tag Mayfield. Ooh, intrigue. Yes, we love a little bit of the intrigue here. Okay, another winner in franchise Tagapalooza 24. Defense tackle Chris Jones. Had he been tagged, he would have played for $6 million less than his projected market value last season. Jones will now either sign a long term deal with the Chiefs, which I hope he does, or he will do so elsewhere. If he and the Chiefs don't come to terms on a long term deal, Jones will be one of the NFL's most coveted free agents. Jones earned that rep after picking up his second All Pro nod last year while playing a key role in the Chiefs' successful title defense. Who's the biggest loser? Antoine Winfield Jr. You got to feel for this kid. Winfield was slated to enter free agency as the top available safety. Instead, he's currently in line to make over $1 million less than his projected market value this coming season. The positive for Winfield is that he and the Bucs have until July 17th at 4 p.m. to come to terms on a long-term deal. He is surely hoping to cash in after a 2023 season that saw him fill the stat sheet with 122 tackles, 6 sacks, 3 interceptions, a league best 6 forced fumbles, and a partridge in a pear tree. And That's why he's a loser in this point of view. Safety Xavier McKinney is a big winner. His situation is different from fellow safety Winfield, who was tagged by the Bucks. Winfield is an All-Pro who will likely get his big payday later this offseason if he and the Bucks can agree on a long-term deal or next offseason. Now, for McKinney, this is his time to cash in his chips, especially with Winfield not currently on the open market. The former second-round pick should have a pretty robust market after a solid 4-year run with the Giants. Big loser again, running back Josh Jacobs. He wanted to stay with the Raiders, who drafted him back in 2019. That possibility took a hit when Las Vegas opted not to tag him. What really hurts Jacobs is the fact that he wasn't able to test the market last year. No, he wasn't. As the reigning league rushing champion. Instead, Jacobs is slated to enter free agency after averaging a career low 3.5 yards per carry. Jacobs is less than a week away from joining a list of free agent running backs that also includes Barkley, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, and Austin Eckler. L'Jarius Sneed, the cornerback, is also a winner. If he plays under the tag, Sneed will make about $3.5 million more than his projected market value as far as annual salary is concerned. While he will have to wait for a long-term deal, Sneed will get a lot of money for this season while, getting a chance to strengthen his market value for the upcoming 24 season. Another loser on the opposite end, linebacker Brian Burns. Burns continues to wait for his coveted long-term deal. He was vocal about his desire to get one last offseason, but was forced to play under the team's fifth-year option. If he plays under the tag, Burns will be the sixth highest paid player at this position, which is absurd given his production so far in Carolina. Burns was given the non-exclusive tag, so teams can negotiate with him once free agency starts. If he is given another offer, the Panthers can either match it or just go like this. Aloha, my son. That's right. Let Burns go while receiving 2 first-round picks. That's something interesting, not that? Okay, we are done with that portion of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, ooh. Okay. Jaden Daniels. Oh, this is a very unusual story. Jaden Daniels, in his own unique way, debunked the rumors stating that people in his camp do not want the New England Patriots to select him during the 2024 NFL Draft to be held in Detroit at Ford Field. Daniels, one of the top ranked quarterback prospects in the draft, responded to the rumor on X, formerly Twitter, with a simple cap emoji that insinuates that the rumor is in fact not true. As any NFL fan knows, rumors, rumblings, and reports have been running rampant in the weeks leading up to the NFL Draft. Thankfully, all the speculation will end when each team makes their respective picks from April 25th to the 27th, live and in color in Detroit, or as we like to call it affectionately, Detroit. Interestingly enough, Daniels has already been linked to the Patriots, who are clearly interested in selecting a quarterback with the 3rd overall pick. Now, former Patriots coach Bill Belichick loved Daniels. Yes, he wanted to love him to snuggle up close and say, "Win me a Super Bowl." Daniels, who was at the top of New England's draft board when Belichick was still at New England, according to NFL media, Belichick was going to try and do everything in his power to draft him. Well, with new head coach Jared Mayo following suit, or will he and the Patriots change course? That question will ultimately be answered when New England is on the clock on April 25th. The Patriots need help at quarterback, so taking one with the number 3 overall pick does make sense. Now, it's easy to see why Belichick is a fan of Daniels. During his final season, and I'm going to do this like this. I'm the man in black. I meld. Okay. Let's put you down for a second. Give me a chance to rise up, rise up, rise up. Yes, sir. I'm gonna rise up. I'm gonna be doing my story now. Why am I gonna be doing my story? Because it's simple. It's my show, and I will do the story in here. Where's that Lee? Where were we in the soliloquy we were having? Wow. Teleprompter. You gotta love it. Okay. Um. Hey. When new head coach. Oh yeah, so taking 103 makes sense. Let's keep going. Now it's easy to see why Belichick is a big fan of Daniels. During his final season at LSU, Daniels completed a whopping 72.2% of his passes with 40 touchdowns against just four picks. Yeah. Okay. Oh, excuse me, folks. That was my first yawn of the night. Okay, let's see here. Um, hmm. Ugh. Yes, tonight I'm going to be sleeping like a dog. Woof. Let's get over here. Let's continue. Burma's giving the singing. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Hmm. Oh, boy, we just read all this. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Okay, we are at 2 minutes past the hour of the lovely 2 o'clock. Or not 2 o'clock. We are about 3 minutes past midnight Eastern Time. So let us right now, as we speak, get to live scores and get you scores from the football games and every other stinking thing in the free kind of world that we live in. It's it's sort of poetic justice, if you don't mind. Boy, excuse me, kids. Okay, okay. Let's go to our soccer uh, dealio, if we may, and we do. All right. Wow. Short. In Champions League round of 16, Bayern Munich defeated Lazio 3-0. Paris Saint-Germain defeated Real Sociedad 2-1. In in CONCACAF Champions Cup, the round of 16, Club Sport Heredano defeated SV Robin Hood 2-0. Pachuca and Philadelphia Union ended up in a goose egg tie, and so did Orlando City in Tigres. Uh, Two games in the NPL in Australia from New South Wales. Sydney United and Spirit ended up in a 1-1 tie. And in northern New South Wales, Broadmeadow Magic defeated Adamstown Rosebud FC 3-2. Oh, Johnny Wood. Hmm. All right, we may be filling this show up and finding out where this all sticks. Okay, that will do it for that scorage. Okay, let's get down to some more scores because, hey, we do sports, we do scores. Let's just love it, chicka boom, boom, boom. Okay, in the NBA, Suns over about 5:02 left to play in regulation. Suns lead the Nuggets 96-90. Magic beats the Hornets 101-89. Cavaliers over the Celtics 105-104. Miami Heat turned off the Pistons for the very last time. 118-110. Brooklyn Nets over the Philadelphia 76ers 112-107. Hawks 116. Knicks 100. Pelican 139. Raptors 91. All right. Or excuse me, 98. 139-98. Rockets over the Spurs 114-101. Pacers over the Mavericks 137 to 120. In the men's game of basketball for NCAA greatness, San Diego State lost to UNL, or at the half, it's San Diego State 28, UNLV 33. Now for your final scores, let's rock it right now. Florida over Alabama, 105-89. Purdue over Illinois, 77-71. South Florida took out a, who am I here? Oh, yeah. San Diego State is losing to UNLV 33-28. Final scores: Florida over Alabama 105-87. Purdue beat Illinois 77-71, and in doing so, they have won their second second time as a charm. Ooh, okay. Let's get up here. 77-71, Purdue over Illinois. Purdue has clinched a part of the Big Ten championship title game. Hey, Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU. How you doing? South Florida over Tulane, 85-72. North Carolina over Notre Dame. It was 84-51. Auburn over Missouri by a score of 100-101. What was I saying? Auburn beat Mississippi. Auburn beat Missouri 101-74. Kansas State lost to Kansas 90-68. And Dayton has won. Anyway, did we give all the scores? Yeah, Purdue and Illinois, Tulane, South Florida, 85-72, South Florida. North Carolina, an 84-51 winner over Notre Dame. Auburn, a 101-74 winner over Missouri. Dayton over San Luis, 100-83. And Kansas State, 11th ranked. Anyway, leave us to continue. North Carolina over Notre Dame, 84-51. Auburn over Missouri, 101-74. Dayton over St. Louis, 100-83. And Kansas beat Kansas State, 90-68. And here's where the long arm gets going. Women's basketball finals, and yes, we got them all finals. Georgia Southern over Texas State, 72-70. Carolina over South Alabama, 70-69. East Carolina over Charlotte, 71-66. Wichita State over UAB, 68-65. Tulsa over Tulane, 61-56. You will find it in stuff. Okay, let's keep going. Um, Wichita State over UAB, 68-65. Tulsa over Tulane is. Okay, here we go. East Carolina over Charlotte, 71-66. Wichita State over UAB, 68-65. Tulsa over Tulane, 61-56. Detroit over Robert Morris, 59-48. New Kentucky over Oakland, 70-62. Youngstown State over IUPUI, 73-50. Memphis over North Texas over Memphis, 78-66. University of Texas San Antonio. San Antonio beats Rice with a little help from the French chef. 80-52. So hide those keys where even the kids don't get them. Let's see what else. Memphis. All right. Wow, I'm going back to sleep again. Where were we? Detroit over Robert Morris, 59-48. New Kentucky. Northern Kentucky over Oakland, 70-62. Youngstown State over IUPUI, 73-50. North Texas over Memphis, 78-66. USTA, for want of a better word, they helped us find what I was looking for. That's right. UTSA, 60. Rice, 52. South Florida, 68-61, winner of Rockies. Okay, let's continue here. Already given Rice and UTSA. South Florida in overtime defeated SMU 68-61. Hartford defeated Dartmouth 75-48. UNLV already gone state as what's to be. Yes. South Florida defeated SMU 68-61. Harvard over Dartmouth 75-48. 1 year down and out. Anyway, what do we got here? Harvard 75, Dartmouth 48. UNLV, a 104-44 win over Utah State. Colorado State, a 64-50 win over Boise State. New Mexico, better than Old Mexico, 72-58 over Fresno State. San Diego State wins in a heart shocker in basketball. San Diego State beat Wyoming 58-55. Anyway. In Major League Baseball, Red Sox over the Rays 7-4. Braves over the Tigers 3-0. Marlins over the Stros 2-0. Orioles beat the Phillies 3-2. Pirates over the Blue Jays 6-5. Cardinals over the Twins 5-4. Yankees over the Mets, or actually Mets over the Yankees 5-4. Guardians over the Mariners 4-1. Giants slammed the door to the Brewers, telling him, "Come on, Steve, you can do better." I know I can. Pirates over the Blue Jays 6-5. Cardinals over the Twins 5-4. Yankees over the Mets 5-4. Mariners, Guardians. Okay. Where are we here? Angels over the Dodgers 4-0. Royals over the Cubs 4-0. Diamondbacks over the Padres 5-3. Rangers over the Mariners 10-9. Giants over Brewers 13-8. Guardians over the Mariners 4-1. Mets win something as well. 5-4. Mets over